You know, it's a bit hard to find recent material for this game. I already played the game itself 1,000 times and that includes pretty much all maps on Silly Zone's downloads page. So I thought, let's go back to the reason I love this game so much. Nostalgia. Browsing the downloads page is like walking down memory lane. Partly because there hasn't been any new content in ages. Well, that's not fair. Two new maps have been added, so let's try some of those old maps I remember playing. Ah, Portals. I remember this one being great. It was made by three people in the olden days of 2002. Cyber, Metal Maniac, and Zero. The thing with collaborations is that they either become the greatest work done through the seamless fusion of multiple styles, or end up being the worst of their kind. Which one is Portals? Well, probably neither, because these three people didn't work on a single map at once. No, they worked on separate maps, and those maps were bundled up into the pack we now know as Portals. So, let's see if they still hold up today. We start out in front of a portal. It seems we managed to narrowly escape an enemy, and he's too much of an idiot to use the portal. Accurate representation of the enemy's AI. This map serves as a sort of hub world between the maps, and it's a really pretty hub world. A bit blocky, but it looks good. The door to the rest of the portals is locked. You have to find a key. You have to go inside this long corridor and go through the first door. There you'll find the escape portal, which you can't use just yet. You need 3 crystal skulls, gathered from different civilizations. The rest of the corridor you can find some pretty nice rooms, an incredibly slow elevator, and a valley. But that part is ultimately pointless, so let's just go to the portals. Here you can catch a glimpse of all the levels to come. Dangling that carrot in front of my face, eh? Well, I want that damn carrot. First portal. You okay there? Shit, is that the crystal skull I need? Well, let's get that carrot, I mean skull. So, the first portal. Dungeon. Made by the same guy who made the hub world. It has the same blocky but pretty design, the same slow elevators, the same corridors, same overall style. There goes that kamikaze! Come on, open! Oh. Never mind. You can even close these doors back down. Now ain't that nifty? There's not much to say about this map though. It's a great map, it's competently designed, sometimes it's visually interesting. There's a variable that spawns more shoppers. 4 of them. It's really the last fight where it picks up some pace. You finally catch up to that damn kamikaze and finally get that damn skull. Then it gets cloudy and starts raining, so you can tell something's about to happen. Awesome. A more shopper rush? Really? Look, this isn't challenging. More shoppers should always come with other enemies. They're like Nords, pretty useless even in large numbers, but can provide good distraction in large fights, and neither of them are hard to deal with when you have a chainsaw. Oh shit, was it a clear? Well done, you took my advice. For the final wave you get a flamethrower. I would have been happier with a rocket launcher to be honest, but whatever. You even get a nice opening for the first demons you encounter. Jumping out the flame like they're flying in from hell. Awesome. So that's done. Now what? Should I go to the door? No. The other one? No. Okay, what the hell. Netricha, do you know anything about this? Oh, you do. A rock with a tunnel under it? This rock doesn't seem any different. Oh. More slow elevators and then you're back to the hub world. Was that worth it? Well, it was a pretty good map. Bit easy though and too short. There were also some parts that just felt like a bit of a cop-out, especially that ending tunnel under the rock. Why couldn't you just build a normal corridor instead? It's a solid 6 out of 10. Oh, by the way, did I mention I'm rating these maps individually? Since they're made by different people, I thought it would only make sense. Back to the hub world. The door to the long corridor is closed, but you can still look around a bit and see weird things happening at the place you originally came from. I'd say this hub world is pointless, but just for these gags, it's worth coming back here. You place the crystal skull on this weird glowy altar and the next portal opens. There we arrive at Canyons. I said Canyons! Oh, that's gorgeous. Oh, hello. That's the strong point of this map. The visuals. Mist-shrouded mountains with ancient temples built into its sides. Not just any temples, Pegasus! Finally, a team that isn't Mayan or Middle Eastern or medieval or Egyptian. It's East Asian. You don't see that setting often in Serious Sam. I especially love how you can see the places you go to before you even get there. Could do without that line in the sky though. The interior sections are quite ugly though. Yeah, there's this part where you have to jump on the ceiling and shoot down enemies on the floor that's become the new ceiling. That's a fun part. Later on you even fall up a tunnel at high speed, fall onto a platform and somehow survive. I mean, I can believe Sam's ankles didn't turn into sand after that. After that you get kamikazes flying at you, and I'm so glad the Sirius engine supports the Doppler effect. In fact, you get a lot of interesting ideas with enemy spawning, like the bulls that spawn fishes when they die, which is kinda gross, or even something as simple as putting bombers in a martial barrage, which makes an inherently boring fight immensely more entertaining. At one point you are attacked by bouncing kamikazes, which then bugs out and this happens. You even have enemies flying at you from below the platforms. At first I thought it was only going to be demons who do this, to make it appear like they're flying. But then I saw these fatties doing the same and even arachnoids. So what's going on? Well, you later find the answer. Clever foreshadowing? I choose to believe so. After that it must sound weird when I say that the fight design in this level is awful. Enemies only spawn sporadically in relatively small numbers, and it's always easy to deal with them. You often get long stretches of the same enemy type spawned over and over. Look, this isn't challenging no matter how you look at it. You never really see more than 2 types of enemies on the screen. Even the epic final fight only throws waves of the same type of enemies at you. Which is really a shame because the map itself is visually impressive and features some really original and fun ideas, but the fights just become so annoyingly boring at times that I just can't give it more than a 6 out of 10. So after finishing the most boring final fight of all time, you're back to the hub world. You place the crystal skull on the weird glowy altar and now you're on our way to Fortress. You enter a great valley from between the legs of a statue, ew, and what do you see? One of the most boring looking valleys ever. Don't get me wrong, I quite like the visuals of this level. It has a nice alien aesthetic, advanced technology made from stones and wood. And there are all these weird things coming out of the ground with showers of debris. I mean, they don't even leave holes, they just emerge, spawn a few enemies and items, and disappear without a trace. I'm not sure how that works, but it's definitely cool. However, there are no shadows. The whole valley is fully bright and that makes it very boring to look at. It's very boring to play too. It has a very slow start with a lot of enemies spawning very slowly. They pick up the pace as the level goes, but they also decrease in numbers. Sometimes you have to take on large distances with bugger all happening. You also have health, armor and ammo scattered all over the place, and these pickups respawn every time, which means you'll always be at full health, armor and your weapons will never run out. So we reach the fortress and we have to lower the shields to get in. So you are forced to walk all the way to the opposite end of the valley, fight really easy to defeat hordes to reach the control room. So the crystal skull powers the shield. Cool. How do I take it? Etheltra, help me. Only one panel is accessible. Okay. Which panel? There's no panel here. Do I shoot it? Do I dislodge something in this room? There's no fucking panel! Oh. That's the panel. So after that you are forced to walk back. This is so boring. I'm forced to entertain myself by jumping to the beat of the music. So you get there, enter the fortress and I'm guessing you're supposed to defend it from a siege or something? I hear bulls, but I don't see any bulls. What the fuck? Does that mean the siege has started? Oh hell yeah, the siege has started! Now, I think you'd expect more of a fuss from a siege. Yeah, the best word to describe this siege is underwhelming. You get so few enemies, it's quite sad actually. Sure, you get a few Highlanders, but it's not like you don't have infinite health, armor and ammo to kill them with. Then the defense system activates to kill all remaining enemies. All 2 of them. So that's over and you leave through the portal. Well, that was a visually very interesting map, but the fight design was again awful. It was slightly better than Canyon, I mean, there were places with more than 3 enemy types at once, but it still had the problem of being too sluggish. Not to mention the next to infinite resources, and that final battle, that was the most underwhelming final battle I've ever fought. So that means I rate this map a 6 out of 10? That can't be right. So you get back to the hub world, place the last skull and now you're on your way to escape. That long corridor opens. Yeah, I don't think we needed Sam to explain anything there. Ooh, this gotta be the final fight. Now it makes sense why this hall is so huge. So you fight multicolored bulls? I don't remember taking anything today. After that you fight a Highlander's bride. Really? That's one of the lamest final bosses to ever have. But admittedly, the way she appears is freaking cool. I died. Let's reload it. Whoa, the floor got all funky. No, I'm pretty sure I didn't take anything today. You get so little maneuvering room with this boss. You just end up into a wall and dying. So here's what you're gonna do. Grab the speed power up and quickly run under that building. Here she can't reach you and you can kill her in peace. And then you finally enter the portal and you get the credits, which you don't see that often in maps even today. Now, it's time for the score. All maps here got a 6 out of 10, so that means the whole pack gets a 6 out of 10. That just doesn't feel right. They clearly had different qualities. I mean, they weren't bad maps, but they weren't as spectacularly good either. They were actually kinda crappy. I mean, I did enjoy playing them, but I gave Rakanishu's Persepolis 6 out of 10 too, and that one is leagues above this one. These maps were made more than 10 years ago. They were pretty impressive at the time, but compared to some of the things made today, they're pretty mediocre. Putting them up to the same standards as some of the things made today would be really unfair, especially since this is mapping history. They might be crappy, but they were important steps to make. You know what? Do we really need a scoring system? I mean, you can tell what I think about something by listening to what I say. You don't need a score. Is Portals as good as I remember it? No, it just doesn't hold up to today's standards. But it does deserve some nostalgic feelings.